This conference will now be recorded.
Can you hear? You ready? Yeah. I got 6 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I don't believe we have any amendments to the agenda, so just need approval of the adoption of the agenda. Any further discussions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 4-0-0, because we have to swear him in first, I? Yep. Okay. Review the minutes from our regular meeting of June 16th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 16th.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? Passes 3-0-1. Perfect. Review the minutes from the work session from June 22nd.
To approve the work session minutes for June 22nd.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 4-0-0. We will do the oath of office for Dirk Cedergren. So we'll go up here on the flags up here.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, right there, it's fine. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Dirk Cedergren,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and that I will faithfully, justly, and apparently discharge.
and I
Sorry,
will faithfully,
faithfully, justly.
and I read this last night, discharge the duties of the City Council
Of the City of Zumbrota,
of the City of
Minnesota,
Minnesota, Minnesota,
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability,
So help me God.
so help me God. I got that.
Congratulations. Thank you.
On board. Yes, you can.
Yes, now you
Now
can
you
vote.
can vote. Congrats, Dirk. Glad to have you aboard. Accounts payable. Sarah.
Well, it's not too exciting, but I was gonna point out that we paid, I'm spitting, we paid a couple bond payments, so 565 and, where was it? I lost it. 581. And then, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, there it is, 581. That's what, the rest of them are pretty general things. So if you don't have a question, I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable in the amount of $75,113.89.
Any questions for Sarah? Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Sarah. Public comments. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit their remarks to 5 minutes. Any public comments? I will close the public comment portions and we'll jump to 9A, unfinished business. Variance request for 580 4th Street West. Brian?
Yes, this was on the last meeting agenda, but we did not have a quorum because Sarah is unable to vote on this one. So property owner Sarah Derman has submitted an application for a variance to allow a fence in her front yard for her child with special needs. The variance would be to request an to encroach into the 30-foot front setback for fencing. A public hearing was held on June 14th at 5:35 at City Hall to hear requests and answer questions. I don't think there were any. And then stemming from that meeting, the Planning Commission recommends the approval of a variance for encroachment to the front yard setback for 580 4th Street West, and city staff would concur with that and request approval of the variance.
Any questions or comments on that?
So my only comment would be to Matt that if from a planning commission, that was like, that fence in the front yard is kosher with our zoning ordinances.
It's not, that's why we're getting variance.
So that, but that planning commission, they were not concerned with that.
Proposed purpose.
Perfect. Thank you. What do you want a motion?
Please,
I don't know.
thank you.
Thank-
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain?
Me.
Passes 4-0-1. Thanks, Brian. 9B, Goodhue County GIS Users Group Agreement for 2022. Brian.
Yes, this was the GIS deal that the council had previously approved moving forward with. We had a presentation at the last meeting from Alan Laumeyer and Lisa Haney from Goodhue County. They presented the pros, the good things that come with this system. It's going to be very usable for us, both with public works and from a planning and zoning standpoint. We can get that on there. For future planning, it's just going to be a very good tool. A lot of other local cities are already on there. It comes at a little bit of a cost. Typically would be $6,600. We're going to prorate, of course, 2022 to the 5 months for $1,375. And then we'll also pay the 2023 of $3,300. Oh, actually, it's $3,300 a year. We were going to do 2 years out of the ARPA dollars for that. So at this point, we'll do the $1,375 plus the $3,300 out of ARPA dollars, and that'll be paid through 2023 then. We're ready to get rolling and get things on there. It's going to be some staff time to get that on there. We're going to work with our engineer as well. Mike is getting some tools for his staff to locate some things out there and add things as we go. So anything you want to say, Mike, about, no? So we're just requesting approval of the agreement to keep this moving.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agreement. Page to find my GIS. I'm super excited about this.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. 9C, Resolution 2022-14A, Resolution of Contract with City Official. Brian.
Yes, I think 2 meetings ago or 3 meetings ago, council approved putting some new carpet in the city administrator office. At some point, the rest of City Hall will be vinyl plank flooring. We're not ready to proceed with that, but we wanted to get going with the carpet because there's new furniture coming. So council approved Priggy flooring to put in carpet. And Matt pointed out that when we work with a council member in that capacity, we need to do a resolution to contract with a city official. So far, we haven't done anything. Carpet installation will be the 18th of July. Furniture will be the 19th. So we're getting close, but we'd like to request approval to work with Priggy flooring to put carpet in the city administrator's office. Ask for approval of resolution 2022-14.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2022-14.
I'll second
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0.
it. I abstain.
Oh, yeah. 4-0-1. Bob will abstain. Probably best of interest to abstain. Thanks, Brian. New business, Covered Bridge Festival Parade Route. I believe Brian will speak and Brad will speak.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to start this one off, Brad, because we've been talking about the proposed route and we've been considering the Jefferson project. And the Jefferson project will not be anywhere near that area by September 17th. So we were going to suggest maybe you look at doing the parade route the same way we did last year, where you line up on Jefferson and run it down East Avenue, down to, what road was it, Mike? Down to 4th Street. So I think it worked out really well. We've done it once already. So that would be our suggestion. But certainly if you've got other ideas that you want to present.
To me, that's fine. This is Holly Snyder. She's representing the Covered Bridge Festival Committee.
Hi.
So because we were looking for a dedication date for our Veterans Memorial site out here, I didn't know that there was going to be a Covered Bridge Festival about a month and a half ago, and I found out that she had a committee that they're working on the festival. And so we talked about having it, we're going to have the dedication on the 17th in the morning. And they're talking about having the parade on Sunday.
Oh,
So I'll let her talk a little bit what her thoughts are.
As far as the parade route, we kind of are open to anything. We just had a real strong interest to have a parade. So we mostly wanted to just get approval on whatever ended. I think everyone was pretty happy with the East Avenue route. So is there anything else you would need for us as far as moving forward on the parade?
It would be Sunday the
Sunday
18th.
the
And
18th,
what
right
time?
now at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. till, what do you usually close it for? 2 hours? Hour?
We hope to not
Depends on how many
see
bands are in it.
as
Yeah.
long as, so there aren't really, we even talked about the Zimbrota band being in it, we're really gonna try, but being that it's during school, marching bands aren't working anymore in the fall. So there probably won't be marching bands, but we have a lot of other groups interested and businesses as well. So I don't think it'll be more than 2 hours. I think an hour and a half would be plenty. But I suppose it's a 2-hour block.
Yeah, from 2:30 till 4:30 or something like that, or 2:30 to, because what we'll do is a motion, if we can amend the agenda item and add a motion to close for that time period, to close East Avenue.
Do we want to bring that back for the next meeting? And then
Sure.
Know for sure which street.
Okay.
We'll be fine with the green on East Avenue. So I can tell you that.
Yeah, do we want to bring it back again, or do we want to just make a motion to do East Avenue close it from 2 to 5 or something like that?
I
Just
think
to
that's
handle it
fine.
now?
Yeah.
This is Jefferson. So we lined up last year along Jefferson towards the country.
Yeah.
Do we need any closure on that? Just for
I think we're pulled off.
Yeah,
I
you're
think,
on the side where there's
yeah.
no turns there.
Where Ruby's lines up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
That would be our intent again, just along that road.
Okay.
So we just need a motion to close the September 18th for the parade from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock to go down East Avenue roughly from Jefferson to Ford.
Yes.
Kind of like we did last year, right, Mike? You had all the signs out. Oh, because of 4th Street.
It's just rerouted a block over.
They go up 3rd and then up, is it 2nd? And then hit 4th to go out of town. Is that what they did last year, right?
And then they come back. Like literally with Ruby Mansion. How do they get back to? Jefferson, or do they not?
No, they just dispersed from there.
Yeah. Yep, and Holly, you're gonna want to work with the police department and Public Works as well. There's a lot of things that go into closing a road. You're gonna need a lot of volunteers to do
Move
some things.
signs and
Okay.
so can we do a motion to close the road on the 18th of September from 2 to 5 for the parade route from Jefferson to Ford?
I'll make that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian and Brad and Holly.
You have all that, Kim? You get all that?
I might ask another question while we're sort of talking on that. Is there, is this the group that we would come to as far as talking about Saturday night live entertainment? So we have a band booked. We haven't paid yet, but we're going to go to Streets Dance again. So do we need to, purple to be in that road?
Where are you gonna anticipate being?
Here?
Oh,
Is
right
where
out
we
in,
used to, this. Are you gonna start planning on having like further? Yes. That will have to be a.
yeah, well, we should probably talk about that and then we'll probably bring something back to the council at the next meeting, another meeting.
She has reached out to you.
Me and Kim and
Okay.
Pat.
I think that's our, our big thing that we want to get figured out. So I just want to know who I need to talk to about that. Okay. Email, call, what would you prefer?
Email.
How we go from there on the rest.
Perfect. Anything else, Holly? Thank
Thank
you.
you for volunteering.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's good. We got pictures.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
10B, Mill and 6th Street reconstruction. Bill?
Waiting 4 years for this.
Has it been? It's probably been 4 years. So the last time the council talked about this more in depth would have been the fall of 21. And we had gone through various options for 6th Mill. I mean, actually, and Mike has been working on it for a couple of years earlier. And we did some repairs on parts of 6th with the school on Mill. We delayed part of that. So again, looking back to the fall of 21, what we had set out was that we would do this project potentially in 22 or potentially in 23. So now staff is coming back. So I've met with Mike and Brian. We've kind of gone through all the options we had before. And what we're proposing is a complete reconstruction of 6th Street, which would be new road, curb gutter, sanitary sewer, and water main. And then we put sidewalk on one side. That's what we talked about 2 years ago. That would be on the north side. And then on Mill, that would also be a complete reconstruction with new sanitary sewer and water main. I know previously we talked about do we include the water main or not, because that had been rebuilt in the 90s. But by the time you tear the road up for the sewer and cross the several spots, the discussion was, well, let's get it all the same age. Ideally, that's what would have happened in 93, as we would have done it all then. But hey, hindsight's 2020. There's probably a good reason. So the intent is, and I want to highlight this, is we'll do this in 23. The potential drawback is we really want Jefferson, or at least Jefferson, in this area to be done. Part of the reason why we're not doing this in 22 is because having Jefferson and Mill and 6th all tore up at the same time would be a logistical nightmare. So the intent is make sure Jefferson's done. The other item is, okay, what about supplier delays, material items that we're suffering from right now in Jefferson? What if that continues into next year? Then we'll just have to be flexible. We may have some unique bid dates, kind of like we did with Jefferson. We allowed some extensions of time. We're going to do the same, again, to try to get the best prices. Let's see, the other item with that is what happens if we come in over budget. So what we've talked about is, because we're kind of right at the dollar amount that we want to be at. So what happens if we come in high? So we're going to structure the bid in such a way that we could break it up and do 6th only, or we could do the whole project. So as we've talked with Brian and Mike and I, we said, if we had to pick one, 6th or Mill, what would you do first? And we said 6th Street we would do first, we'd do Mill second. So when we bid it, we're going to bid this to give the council the choice. So we're going to call it A bid, or bid 1, which is do everything, or bid 2, only 6th. Then we open the bids, we can make a decision and decide. So that's how we're planning to structure it. Now, between now and next winter, we'll know a lot more, and we may change some of our, change our mind. We'll obviously know more where we're on Jefferson, and we'll have a better idea where we are in the material supplier world. Just again, a reminder, concrete structures have been the main thing that our causing us issues as far as delivery date. So with that, so this is the agreement for the engineering portion of this. This includes the design engineering, the construction engineering. And I guess I'll pause there and if there's any questions or comments. I don't know, Mike or Brian, if you have anything to add. Yes.
It will start at the completion of Jefferson. Do you mean the completion past Mill Street of Jefferson or the entire Jefferson project?
The completion past Mill Street.
Just wanted that clarification.
In
Thank you.
theory, you know, we could still be down by Dubuque and Quick Trip working out, but we want to have the portion through here done, correct?
I understood. I guess. Didn't know that I
So
heard
if
that.
for some reason they're past 6th Street, but not to Mill, well, then we'd probably do 6th.
Right.
And not Mill at that point. And the reasoning that we would do 6th first is
It's
everything
faster.
underneath is costing us a lot of money. Mill Street is terrible on the surface, but 6th Street is terrible below and on the surface.
Oh, and I forgot to add in the alley off of 6th Street. Something we also debated, back in 2001. We are including that, replacing the sanitary sewer and water in the project and paving the alley. So that's also included in the scope as well.
We are going to pave the alley.
As we sit today, yes. So
Yeah, we-
That'll be an assessment, correct?
as we have it written right now, it's not an assessment, but that is something we specifically called out that we could change.
Yeah.
So in the agreement, it actually says that. And then if we change our mind, then that's okay as well. Again, we'll know a lot more as we put on the road. One of the questions on alleys is you have to be able to prove benefit. Proving benefit for paving alleys is much more difficult than proving benefit when you're paving a street.
We could put it back to rock.
We could put it back to rock, correct? Yep.
How many exits are on that road? Do you know, Mike, roughly?
Fine.
Well, yeah, but I think 3 driveways off there or 4 driveways maybe.
And a couple side yards, so it's not the most straightforward project to assess, so.
Ask them what they would prefer.
Yeah, typically an unimproved section like that would be assessed and that would be requested by them to pave it. Typically, we would go back with rock unless they want to step up and pay for it. But we can talk about that. And the reason we want to deal with the water and the sewer under there is because if we got to do that later, then we're going to beat up our new road, the heavy equipment to do that. So that's why we included that part of the project. And
So we just need a motion to,
You have it listed there as not a storm sewer.
No storm sewers on 6, because there are none now.
Right.
Do we need storm sewers there?
That's a discussion we've had. We do not have any drainage problems there now, particularly because of the grade. Any of the drainage issues are more down at the intersection with Mill and 6th. And we are adding some additional storm sewer on Mill. So what the intent or what we've talked about is that we would add more capacity in the intersection only, but not west on 6th.
Yeah, I think we can have some, there's quite a bit of water coming down all at once too, even if we could get some extra intakes possibly or something, maybe central, but there's some talks.
Right. I'm going to jump back. I'm going to clarify this. So we've had about 4 different versions of the scope. So I just wanted to reread it. So I'm just going to read exactly what we wrote. Paving the alley via the special assessment process is not included in the scope. Okay, so then it says this could be added by amendment. So as we are in this agreement, not included, but we're going to finalize that after we do basically our preliminary engineering. That's correct. Because remember that, we have neighborhood meetings, by the time we get through our neighborhood meetings, all that, we'll have a much better feel for this, so.
That is,
Yes.
taking into account the plans that you're going to provide, when are they going to be completed? Wondering if getting those completed sooner than the Jefferson project to put this up for bid sooner, does that help?
I'm gonna hedge my bet and say sometimes, like we found out after we bid Jefferson that by delaying Jefferson, we actually got better bids. generally speaking, we want to be in the February to April range. We want to be after the New Year's. So typically what that would mean is January or February, we would come to the council to approve it, and then 30 days later, we'd bid.
I think the only place that would help us is in like supplies with Hancock, because
Right.
they're full up for the year by the time we did Jefferson. So the only advantage to going a little earlier would be to get the supplies. I think would help.
We did discuss it with, Schumacher Excavating, because they have the Jefferson contract. And for them, they want to, if they, again, it's a publicly bid project, but if they get this project, they would want to finish Jefferson before they move down to this. So maybe not as much urgency in a normal year. But timing of bids is a little bit of a guessing game, Bob.
Need a motion?
To approve the service agreement with WHK. Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed, passes 5-0. Thanks, Bill. 10C, Public Works truck purchase. Mike?
Trucks that we talked about it, the council before that we had purchases as a 7-4. Chief, we did take it out to D, and we checked it over and everything checked over good on this. Instead of leasing it for 6 months, purchase it. Because even at that, we still don't know.
I much prefer you driving a city truck than your own truck.
Yeah, it actually helps. I have a really good used truck like this. It's been checked out and they said it's a great truck. So, to pick up a used one with all these boxes on it too, for the 12.5 is gonna help our capital equipment budget too, or Mike's budget there. Provide a little bit of a few more dollars than buying a new truck. So.
Motion to approve the truck purchase.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, passes 5-0. Thanks, Mike. 10D, approve election judges. Brian?
Yes, Miranda has put together the list of election judges, and this is for the primary election only. I think my memo said differently. It was for both of them, but this is only for the primary election. Might change a little bit for the general election. A couple of them won't be able to be there for that. So just asking for approval on the list of election judges for the primary election. We have to submit those by the 15th of July. So
Glad to see a big list of volunteers.
yes, so are we.
Are most of them continuing year after year, Kim? I'd say a lot of them look like that, so.
I'll make that motion to approve the primary election judge approval list for August 9th. I was gonna say, yeah, we've had a lot of renewed interest with all of, just the political climate this year. So it's great to have people come on board, and we've got people completing training, and this year what will be different is we have that will not be a paper roster. It will be on an iPad. And the training's pretty stringent to go through it. So I think it's going to be a good thing.
Perfect. Do we get a second?
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed, passes 5-0. Thanks, Brian. 10E, 4M fund. Kim?
Well, the current and the past interest rate environment has been pretty crappy. And we have not been getting a ton of interest on our investments, and we're limited to what we can invest in. So Brian and I reached out to the 4M fund at the League of Minnesota Cities, and they met with us and kind of talked about some of their products. In the meantime, though, I was going to ask for approval of investing with them, but in the meantime, the Bank of Zumbrota has reached out to us as well, that they have some options that we were not aware of. So I guess in a sense, I'd kind of just like to wait on this until we discuss those options. We all like keeping our things local if we can, and if they can give us the rate we need and the convenience we need, I think that would be a
a great partnership.
Perfect. So we'll just put it on
We'll just-
hold until
Yep.
we get some more.
We need to do a motion to table it.
So I just need a motion to table the,
Oh, but
you did it?
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Kim. 10F, preliminary budget information. Kim again.
Well, I'm sure that you all read with great glee, your first preliminary budget that I sent out to you. Again, this is just our first throw over the bow. Some of the things that we have worked on is this is a negotiation year for us with unions, so we know there's going to be requests for cost of living raises. We aren't sure where they're going to fall, so we tried to get somewhere and where we think possibly we're a little, so we have some cushion to adjust some things. We have seen a significant increase in fuel, so our fuel budgets have been adjusted up 40%, which is a pretty big hit. Probably $15,000 overall in the budget. Some of that will be borne by the enterprise funds, which do not come out of the general fund levy. So that makes it a little better. Another thing we've added some dollars for right now is we're going to have a lot of money in tree removal and different things like that because of the Emerald Ash Borer. So I've beefed up those budgets a little bit, well, quite a bit. I beefed up the seal coat budget. I've added about 25% to that. And I did, after we had that work session meeting, you suggested perhaps looking at a sidewalk fee on the utility bill and then taking that off the levy. So I looked at that for a $25,000 revenue for the sidewalks. It's about $1.48 per water and sewer bill. So I took that off for now, but that we can move things around where they need to be. I also added we did a partial enactment of the street lighting fee last year. I did bring it all the way up to the 425 instead of the 375. I think it's at right now, or 325. We've been seeing, like everyone, significant increases in all our costs. Our insurance costs as far as our property and liability and our workers' comp have just skyrocketed. So we've seen 20% increases in those. And when you have a bill for property and insurance, that's $120,000, $20,000, or 20% increase is pretty substantial. But on the plus side, I've been running some numbers with it. And right now I've got our levy increase at 5.56. That sounds, well, last year we were at 9.76, but there was a lot of new property that's coming on for this tax year. Basically, we have a really nice big commercial chunk that's coming on. So that's going to increase our tax base, even with the appreciation in people's home values. So I am thinking that we are not going to see that kind of impact. I don't have the final numbers yet from the county. Once I get those, I can break down per $100,000 and tell you the approximate city impact on on property taxpayers. But we're open to any ideas or suggestions, or we're just kind of starting where we think we're going to go. Anytime you have questions, please come in and talk to me, and I will dig it down and work it out. I think Brian has a few things he wants to talk about with some increases. And
well, within this was my request to add a FTE, an employee for Public Works, and that's included in this budget. As we know, we haven't had a new Public Works employee since the 70s. We've got a lot more roads, more parks, a lot of that. Along with that, we're going to assess our mowing contracts to see if we bring another person on, if we can do more of the mowing ourselves and less contracted. We'll do a break-even study on that to see what the benefit is there. You have to buy another mower, and so we're gonna study that along with this. But that FTE is within this budget request, as is a change to Kim's job classification. Assistant Finance Director just is not. It's not what Kim does. Kim is the finance director, and she also handles the HR stuff. So I saw a couple positions out there that were just that, finance and HR director. So I kind of modeled a job description after that, and I think it really fits what she actually does. So that request is within this budget as well. But again, yep, it's the preliminary, and that's where we're kind of starting, and a lot more discussion to be
We're
had.
down from here.
And then do you recall, Kim, so we were 9 something last year. Do you recall what the impact to the community was or to the taxpayers?
I want to say it was, it was kind of questionable because we thought it originally assessed that like for a $200,000 home, and then just double or whatever your home value is. We figured it would be about $70. And I believe it was right around there, $70 to $80 for a $200,000 home.
Yeah, so.
So this one I anticipate will be less probably.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
There was nothing else.
No.
Increase that
We
budget
were
other
doing
than,
It was mostly due to Jefferson.
other than Jefferson.
Last year was 203,000 roughly, and of that 203,000, 195,000 was Jefferson. So
Perfect. Any more questions for Kim? Thanks for the information. 10G, Civic Systems Fixed Asset. Kim.
yep, when we originally looked at the purchase of software, we've never had a fixed asset program. And basically because of what we're required to do by the Federal Accounting Standards Board, we have to track every asset, which means every pipe in our street, we have to depreciate it, we have to account for it, we have to, when we have these big projects, Bill sends me these bills and they're pages and pages long and they have portions of completion and some's water, some sewer, some stormwater. So it's complex to track. We've done it on a spreadsheet for years and years and it's incredibly cumbersome. The new software system that we're ordering, actually I can go in through the accounts payable system and knock this stuff right into a fixed asset system. And after speaking with our auditors, they would really like to see us do something different with our fixed assets system, as would I. The cost for this is, I believe, I don't have my memo in front of me, is it 3,200? Yeah, to begin, the first is like 3,700 and then it's a $650 per year subscription fee. We have money in our technology fund, or we can take it out of ARPA, but there's money available for that. I've been saving for new software for 12 years. So, every department has contributed to that so that we can afford that. And some of our subscription costs are also borne by our water and sewer funds because they are heavy users of it.
And the auditor did talk to me about this as well. And he complimented Kim on what a good job she does, given the spreadsheet she has to deal with to even get through it. But it's going to save a ton of time, a ton of staff time, just to have this module with everything automated. And, at that point, it's just adding new stuff. So yeah, staff would definitely recommend or request approval of moving forward with this module.
We've never had a seamless system. We've always had systems where you have to do this here and then you have to pull this over here. So even our water and sewer, you have to manually pull something over. And with everything now, it's supposedly all going to flow together. And we just got our schedule for implementation this week and it's looking good. We think we're going to be, all our big pieces will be on by the end of the year. So.
Mow the lawn.
Exactly.
There we go.
They're gonna make enemies.
I can do all the stuff. I can do all the stuff I can't do now.
Perfect. So we just need a motion to approve that asset. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Kim. Reports, Brian.
Yes, Jefferson, we're still hearing middle of August for structures, maybe. So we're hoping for a start sometime just before that. I think that's what we're still hearing.
Emphasis, maybe.
Yeah. So, they've asked for a priority on those but we'll see. We're kind of at their mercy right now. It'll get going eventually. But we will start theoretically this year, right? That's what we're still projecting, doing some of it, what we can do. Last I heard, so. Our community development specialist, Dylan has left the 5-day position now officially. He's working 2 days remotely, doing a number of different things. Before he had left, we had put together this program for this 2-day person to pick up some things that really need to be done for Zumbrota, to bring some additional revenue in for the EDA. He's working on a combined plan, which kind of combines, it's hard to explain, but a lot of the policies, a lot of the applications into a single document so you can navigate it. So that's what he's working on right now, as well as he's going to help with the transition. We decided to stay with CETA and contract that position. And we interviewed Todd, Tina, Kim, Dylan actually was involved, and I, since Dylan knows the position so well, I asked him to be involved with the interviews as well. And we interviewed 3 people, and we requested that CETA assign Kurt Meister to Zumbrota. He's been a long time teacher in Rochester, just a great guy. In meeting him, seems to be a quick learner, ready to dig in. CETA, Ron Ziegler was impressed with him. So he will be here on the 13th. To start. So we'll throw him right in here on the 14th, and he can tell us more about himself at the council meeting. Let's see, congressionally directed spending. We finally received some direction on that. The dollars are hosted by the EPA. They're coming through, it was a clean water umbrella that the money went under. So we received almost $1 million for a water looping project that's going to go under Highway 52 and provide looping for the cold store building, Schwann's out there, because there's bad water out there. And if they went down, if that water main went down, cold store has to have water to cool. So, there's a lot of ice cream out there. I think that we'd have to eat it quick. But anyway, we've been waiting to find out where the money's coming from and what we need to do to get it. It's a lot of stuff. I forwarded it to Bill to ask for some help navigating. It's 29 pages of regulations and things that we need to read through. And then it looks like we have to attend a training and a question and answer session. So Bill's helping me out with that, and we'll hopefully get that water looping project going again here real soon. Well, it will once we do all. There's plans. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So, but it's a lot of money, so it's going to be worth the time and the effort and the dollars we spend to put all those plans together. Yes, tremendously. It was Tina Smith, Amy Klobuchar from the Senate side, and then Angie Craig from the House side made that happen for us. So very appreciative of that.
Perfect. That it, Brian?
That's it.
Thank you. Brian? Nothing? Matt? Chief? Bill? Kim? James? Mike?
As you can see, we're good. We're starting in our mill and overlay project. Right. So I told you would be done, completed middle of August.
You told me 4 weeks, so that's about right.
Yeah.
No, hopefully they'll get that as soon as they'll bring up the paving crew in shortly, and they'll be getting the alley and then up in Woodlands, and then we are paving the Veterans Memorial too. At the parks, we'll be doing that portion of for the Veterans Memorial. Extended the parking lot up there a little bit for them, and then the driveway going in. We had 3 benches donated to the parks. We've got those pads poured and some basketball hoops started down there. Hopefully we'll get them completed next week. Otherwise, that's starting to look really nice down there too. So that's all I have.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. I just have one thing. I just want to welcome Dirk to the City Council of Zumbrota. Welcome. Sarah? Tina? Bob? Dirk?
Introduce my wife, Tammy. She came in.
Hi, Tammy.
Glad to be on board. Moved to Zumbrota several years ago. My kids love playing at the park, and I got 12 grandkids, so we have a fun time.
Perfect. Welcome, nice meeting you. Meeting adjourned.
Is it shut off automatically or you gotta slide the one button off to your right?
Over here.
And then the button on top and then a swipe, I think.